The rain hammered against the floor-to-ceiling windows of the 47th floor, each drop racing down the glass like tears against the Seattle skyline. Alexander Sterling stood silhouetted against the storm, his tailored Armani suit a stark contrast to the chaos outside. At 35, he commanded a tech empire worth $12 billion. Yet tonight, something felt profoundly empty. His reflection stared back, sharp jawline, piercing blue eyes that had closed countless million-dollar deals, and hands that had never known a day of real struggle. The irony wasn't lost on him. He had everything money could buy, but lately, sleep eluded him, and his penthouse felt more like a gilded cage than a home. Mr. Sterling. His assistant's voice crackled through the intercom. "Your car is ready for the charity gala." Alexander loosened his platinum cufflinks, a gift from a business partner who'd betrayed him 6 months later. "Cancel it, Rebecca. Tell them I'm indisposed." Instead of heading home, Alexander found himself walking the rain-soaked streets of downtown Seattle, something he hadn't done in years. His security team would have a collective heart attack, but tonight he craved anonymity. He pulled up his collar and disappeared into the crowd. Just another face among thousands. That's when he saw her. Huddled beneath a flickering streetlight outside a 24-hour diner sat a young woman, maybe 22, clutching a worn backpack to her chest. Her clothes were clean but clearly secondhand, and despite the cold, she was sharing her meager meal, a cup of instant noodles, with a stray dog that had found refuge beside her. "Here, buddy," she whispered, her breath visible in the cold air. "You need this more than I do." Something in Alexander's chest tightened. He'd witnessed countless acts of charity at black tie events, where wealthy patrons wrote checks for tax deductions and photo opportunities. But this raw, genuine kindness from someone who clearly had nothing struck him like lightning. The girl's name was Maya Chen, though Alexander wouldn't learn this until later. She'd been studying computer science at the University of Washington, until her mother's cancer treatments drained their savings. Now, she worked 3 part-time jobs while caring for her mother, sleeping in shelters when she could find space, park benches when she couldn't. Alexander watched from the shadows as Maya finished feeding the dog, then carefully wrapped her remaining food in a napkin and placed it in her backpack. She was saving it, he realized, probably for tomorrow, or for someone else who might need it more. An idea began forming in his mind. Audacious, completely out of character, yet somehow inevitable. The next morning, Alexander Sterling, billionaire CEO, was nowhere to be found. Instead, Marcus Johnson appeared at the temp agency downtown, applying for a security guard position at the very building where Maya worked her night shift cleaning offices. The transformation was remarkable. Gone were the Italian leather shoes, replaced by worn work boots. The $1,000 haircuts gave way to a simple buzz cut. Colored contacts turned his distinctive blue eyes brown, and a carefully cultivated 5 o'clock shadow changed the angles of his face. Even his posture was different, less commanding, more approachable. "You start tonight," the temp agency supervisor said, barely looking up from his paperwork. "Building maintenance and security. 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Don't mess it up." Alexander, now Marcus, smiled. For the first time in months, he felt genuinely excited about work. That first night, he watched Maya move through the empty office building like a ghost. She was meticulous, treating each space with respect, despite the fact that the occupants would never know her name. She watered wilted plants that weren't her responsibility, straightened picture frames, and even left encouraging sticky notes on desks where she noticed family photos or personal items suggesting someone was going through a hard time. "Rough night?" Marcus asked during her break, offering her a coffee he'd bought from the vending machine. Maya looked surprised that anyone had noticed her, let alone spoken to her. "Not rough," she said, accepting the coffee gratefully. "Just long. But I'm grateful for the work. Grateful." Marcus was genuinely curious. For cleaning office buildings at midnight. Maya's smile transformed her entire face, revealing a beauty that had nothing to do with expensive cosmetics or designer clothes. Every job is a blessing. Every dollar gets my mom one step closer to getting better. And every night, I get to make someone's tomorrow a little brighter, even if they never know it. Over the following weeks, Marcus became Maya's shadow, learning the contours of her extraordinary character. He watched her give her lunch money to a homeless veteran outside the building. He saw her comfort a crying executive who'd been working late, offering tissues and a listening ear despite their vastly different stations in life. He witnessed her studying by flashlight during breaks, determined to finish her degree despite every obstacle life had thrown her way. But it was the night Marcus discovered Maya sleeping in the building's basement storage room that everything changed. "I'm sorry," she said when he found her, scrambling to pack up the small nest she'd made among the cleaning supplies. "I know I'm not supposed to be here. I'll find somewhere else." "Maya, wait." Marcus's voice was gentle. "How long have you been sleeping here?" Her shoulders sagged with exhaustion. "A few weeks." "The shelter's been full, and I can't afford anything else right now." "Mom's treatment costs." She trailed off, pride warring with desperation in her eyes. That night, Marcus broke character for the first time, pulling strings he wasn't supposed to have as a security guard to ensure Maya had a warm, safe place to sleep. He told her he knew someone who could help, that there were resources available she didn't know about. What Maya didn't know was that Marcus had been working behind the scenes for weeks, using his connections to create opportunities that seemed like lucky breaks. A scholarship that appeared out of nowhere for her studies, a part-time job with flexible hours and better pay. Medical treatment for her mother at a fraction of the usual cost. The night Maya's mother was declared cancer-free, Marcus found her crying tears of joy in the building's rooftop garden, a space she'd discovered and been secretly tending to, bringing life to what had been a barren concrete space. "She's going to be okay," Maya whispered, looking up at the stars. "I can't believe it. After all this time, all this fear. She's going to be okay." Marcus sat beside her on the bench she'd fashioned from old milk crates and cushions. "You did this, you know? Your love, your sacrifice, it made the difference." Maya shook her head. "I had help. So much help, from people I'll never even meet. Someone set up that scholarship fund. Someone connected me with the right doctors. Someone, ... She turned to look at him, and for a moment, Marcus thought she might see through his disguise. "Do you believe in guardian angels?" Marcus's throat tightened. "I believe in the power of human kindness to transform lives. I want to pay it forward," Maya said, her voice filled with determination. "All of it. Every kindness that was shown to me, I want to multiply it and give it back to the world. I'm going to finish my degree, and then I'm going to build something, maybe an app or a platform, that connects people who need help with people who want to help. Not just money, but time, skills, friendship, real human connection." As Marcus listened to Maya outline her vision, a platform that would revolutionize charitable giving and community support, he realized she was describing everything he'd spent years trying to build through traditional philanthropy, but with an understanding and passion that came from lived experience. 3 months later, Alexander Sterling made headlines by announcing the largest personal charity commitment in tech industry history, a $500 million fund dedicated to education, healthcare, and community support programs. But more surprising was his announcement of a partnership with a young entrepreneur named Maya Chen. Its revolutionary platform for connecting communities was about to change how the world thought about helping one another. The press conference was held in the rooftop garden of Sterling Technologies. It's the same space where Maya had shared her vision with a security guard who'd simply been willing to listen. As cameras flashed and reporters clamored for quotes, Alexander caught Maya's eye across the crowd. She was radiant in a simple but elegant dress, her mother beaming proudly beside her. Maya had no idea that Marcus and Alexander were the same person, and Alexander had decided to keep it that way. Some acts of kindness were their own reward. But Maya, brilliant as she was, had always been observant. As the crowd began to thin, she approached him. "Mr. Sterling," she said, extending her hand professionally. "Thank you for believing in my vision. I have to ask, though, have we met before? There's something familiar about your voice." Alexander smiled, the same gentle smile Marcus had worn during those long midnight shifts. "I don't think so, Ms. Chen. But I feel like I've known you forever." Maya studied his face for a long moment, then smiled back. "Well then, I guess this is the beginning of a beautiful partnership." As they shook hands, Alexander felt the weight of loneliness that had plagued him for years finally lift. He'd discovered something worth more than all his billions. The joy that comes from using your gifts to lift others up, and the profound connection that forms when we see and celebrate the extraordinary in ordinary people. Maya's platform, now called Guardian Network, launched 6 months later and revolutionized charitable giving worldwide. And sometimes late at night when the offices were empty, Alexander would walk through the building where it all began, remembering the night. He learned that the greatest treasures in life are found in boardrooms or bank accounts, but in the UHL moments when we choose to be someone else's reason to believe in goodness. The security guard uniform still hung in his closet, a reminder that sometimes the most powerful thing a person can do is show up, not as who they're supposed to be, but as who someone else needs them to be. In the end, Maya never did learn that her guardian angel had been watching over her all along. But Alexander knew, and that was enough. Because true kindness doesn't seek recognition. It seeks only to kindle the light that already exists in every human heart. Like and subscribe for more videos.